Yo, what's up guys? My name is Tim and this is the story of how I went from divorced and heartbroken and living in extreme dating scarcity to ultimately meeting and dating some of the most beautiful women in the world. But not only that, taking my dating life into a position where meeting and dating women was no longer an obstacle and I was able to have the dating life that the old version of me would have never imagined. Now, you might not be divorced, but if you've ever come out with something that didn't work, or you've been single longer than you'd like to admit, and deep down you know this part of your life just isn't handled, then keep watching this video. And here's the thing, if you're watching this, you might be a high value guy on paper, like maybe you work high up in sales, maybe you run your own business, or you've even got your own home. But the thing is, until you have this area of your life sorted, I know it eats away, guys. So in this video, I'll share not only how I transform my dating life, but if you stick around, I'll share how you can do the same. But first of all, let's dial it back to the beginning. Now, just 7 years ago, I felt completely lost. My business was struggling and I'd just broken up with my wife after a year of zero sex and zero intimacy. I'm drowning, as you can see in the photos, in a sea of drunken nights out with my friends with no idea which direction my life was headed in. I tried to tell myself I didn't need women, but the pangs of jealousy that I felt when I saw guys with attractive girls on the street told a different story. And I remember thinking, like, what if this part of my life never changes? Perhaps like some of you guys watching this video, I had zero idea how to actually talk to women I found attractive. And not only that, but the world had moved on since the last time I was single. Dating apps and social media were now a thing, and I didn't even know where to start. Most of the women in my age bracket were either already in relationships or I just didn't find them attractive, and I thought I was too old to date younger girls. Even still, I went on a few Tinder dates after my divorce, but the truth is I had to get blind drunk to even work up the confidence to make a move on a girl. If something did happen, they were never girls I was fully attracted to. At age 31, 32, I felt like I was maybe just getting too old. And look, if you're watching this, maybe you've been here as well, going on dates with girls you're not fully into or needing a few drinks just to feel like yourself. But still, I told myself I would meet someone eventually, even though I had no idea how. Well, that lie that I would meet someone eventually came crashing down when I saw my French housemate bringing home a beautiful girl. And then a few nights later, another one. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, here's me there, the ultimate third wheel. This is actually us on a holiday together, and there I was tagging along, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing. How could one man create so much attraction with so many women? And not only that, but he was pretty much always sober, whereas I needed to get blind drunk in order to make anything happen, if anything ever happened. Here's the thing, guys, if you've ever seen or had a friend that is, no matter what he does, everything just seems to click with girls, you'll know how that felt. You know, I tried telling myself that he was a player and I was somehow deeper, but the truth was I wanted what he wanted. And then one day we were talking and he told me the truth, that actually he used to struggle as well. You'd think that it was a relief for me to hear that, oh, this guy used to struggle, but actually it was the opposite, because when he told me that he used to struggle when he was younger and he'd worked through it, that meant he just got rid of my final excuse. Like, this guy was the same age as me, he was shorter than me, he wasn't better looking than me, and he struggled as well. Like, I'd run out of excuses, which meant I had to take action in this area of my life. In that moment, I realized I had a choice. I could keep telling myself that other guys had it and I didn't, or I could commit to finding a way to learn this skill. I knew I had to tackle my biggest fear of all, and that was fear of rejection from women. Well, I should say fear of rejection from a woman I actually liked. In some way, my ego thought I was a cool guy, and I knew that if I went up to a girl that didn't know me, her rejection would kind of shatter the illusion of how I felt about myself ultimately, or it could. So I put off doing anything about it for months. One day, bless him, he even invited me out to, I was living in London at the time, and he invited me out to go and talk to girls, and I told him, like, I can't do it. It was too nerve-wracking for me. And maybe you've had that moment yourself where you tell yourself, yeah, I'm gonna start soon, yeah, I'm gonna start soon, but you just keep putting it off, pushing it down the line. Well, eventually I couldn't push it away anymore, so I decided to take the smallest possible step. I gave one girl a compliment on the street, and then I quickly ran away. It took all my courage, and it had taken me a long time to kind of emotionally build up. A bit like when you see a bunch of guys queuing up to dive off a diving board, and there's always that one guy that jumps in last. Well, hey, that was me. But that feeling actually got me hooked, and I'd overcome for at least a split second my fear of talking to girls and my fear of also like other people looking at me and judging me. So a couple of days later, I went out and I tried to talk to girls again, and I think I gave a couple of girls compliments, and the fear of being judged and the fear of being rejected was just as high, but I remembered mentally how it felt when I'd actually given the girl the compliment and I'd overcome that courage, and that kind of fueled me to keep going. What followed next was a multi-year process of me basically talking to as many girls as I possibly could, thousands of rejections, like days walking around in the rain, just spending hours to try to work up the courage to talk to a girl. It sounds really cheesy, but it's true. Like nights by myself, wondering if I could ever get this part of my life handled with nothing to show for it. And let me just say it like this, if you've ever tried to put yourself out there and nothing is happening, you'll know how easy it is to start questioning yourself. I wanted to speed up my progress, understandably, and it was kind of around this time that I discovered there actually was such a thing as a dating coach. But naturally, I guess you could say I was suspicious. After all, there was still a part of my mind that thought you just had to be yourself with girls. But the old version of me was being himself, and it wasn't getting anything. Frankly, I realized if nothing changes, and nothing was changing. And if I could have done it by myself by now, even though I've been putting in some effort, I would have done. So I got a dating coach to mentor me personally, and he got me to do things I was uncomfortable with. He got me to run around and talk to a girl like front on, and he got me to actually disagree with girls in conversations, which is something I was very, very hesitant to do. But it actually started working, and I was shocked when the girls started laughing, and I couldn't believe I was able to kind of create connection using techniques, I guess you could say. It is worth mentioning that during this time, as you can see in the photos, I decided to grow my hair long. But not only that, my style was terrible. I was carrying a bit of extra weight around my midsection. I wouldn't normally show this photo, but it is what it is. To prove a point. This was when my results started to change massively. I started to become the guy that would get numbers, and then I was the guy that was going on loads of dates, and then I was the guy that was starting to have nights he would never forget with some of the best girls he'd ever met in his life. It's that moment where your friends look at you with a mixture of awe and jealousy, and they kind of wonder, how did you do it? But the reason I'm sharing this is because you might be thinking, I need to lose weight before I start talking to girls, or I need to sort out my style, or there's another aspect of my life I need to get right. And I can tell you firsthand, you can see in the picture, like I was badly out of shape, but I got some of the best results that I've ever got with women in my life around this time. So I can definitely tell you that the biggest deal breaker is learning the skill of actually talking to women, texting women, and learning how to date women. And I'll cover that later on. But it was shortly after this time that I was actually, and this is like 2 years after my breakup, that I was actually hired to teach on another guy's dating coach course. So another dating coach hired me to teach on his course. All of a sudden, in just over a 2-year period, I went from recent divorcee, drowning his sorrows, to all of a sudden flying to a different country to teach guys how to chat up girls. It was a crazy and magical adventure. And if you want to know the craziest part is this, right? The guy that was teaching on the course, he actually introduced me, the head coach, he introduced me to the other guys that were training on the course as the natural. It pissed me off a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, right? Because I'd put in so much work. I used to blush every day when I walked past the receptionist at my work, because she was quite good looking. I just didn't have the social skills to know what to say. And I dealt with that for years, of being afraid every time I walked past a girl that I would blush if we made eye contact. And now he's introducing me as a natural, as a bro. You have no idea what I've gone through to get to where I am now. But it's to prove a point. It doesn't matter where you start. It's all about your commitment to the journey. Anyway, guys, despite the magical experiences I had, this whole thing is not magic. It's a system that any man can learn if he decides to apply himself. The key is not mindless effort, but it's applied effort. Actually knowing what you're doing. Because here's the thing, I used to think that learning this stuff was shady, and I was worried that girls would find out that I was learning how to talk to girls. Until I realized, of course, that there's only one thing creepier, and that's not having this skill and still trying to talk to girls when you don't know what you're doing, because that's 10 times creepier. And now I teach my guys a 4-step system that teaches them how to handle this area of their lives. And I know some of you are thinking there's no way I need help with this, or I should be able to figure this out by myself. The version of me from 6 years ago thought the exact same thing. If you are tired of trying to work this area of your life out by yourself, I'm offering a free coffee chat with those of you that do actually want to get this area of your life handled. Specifically, this is not a sales call. It's a call to determine your current bottlenecks in your dating life, and then literally a strategy session so that we can help you identify what those are. If it makes sense after the call, and I think I can help you further, we can speak again and talk about further steps. If you want to book that in, guys, you can click the link below the video. But yeah, guys, just to say, I went from this guy on the right, completely lost, to this guy that has the confidence to approach any girl he wants, And not to blow my own trumpet here, guys, but I've helped a lot of men sort this area of their lives out. Steve here, who was 50 years old before he ever approached women in real life, and now he's dating multiple women. We got Joel down here, who was a virgin till the age of 27. Now he's met his dream girl. You got Jay down here, who since working together, he's now got engaged to a 23-year-old. He's in his late 40s. So yeah, guys, this isn't magic, it's a system. And if what I shared resonates with you, then I look forward to hopping on a call with you soon. See you on the other side.